Maranatha, my PBC family and friends. Pastor Brian here with another quick bite, living the Word. Today our word is going to come from a parable, Matthew chapter 13, when the Lord talks about the wheats and the tares. And hopefully you're familiar with this one. But what reminded me of this morning is I actually just got done rewinding or winding or stringing, whatever you want to call it, our weed whacker or weed eater, depending on what you're used to it being called. And so I had the line here on the table, and I was looking at this, and I was reading how it says heavy duty, extra tough, meant to basically cut through anything, right? Extra strong. And then I was reminded of the weeds, and I was reminded of the parable of the wheat and the tares. Now, you might really remember this parable here. Basically, the Lord's teaching them in the kingdom parables, right? And in verse 24, he starts out this way. He says, "And another parable he put forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way." So here it is. He's talking about how there's the man who he sows good seed among his field, but a man while he slept, the enemy came and sowed tares and went in his way. But when the blade was, it says, when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the household came and said unto him, Sir, didst thou not sow good seed in the field? From whence then hath the tares? And he said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? So here's what they're asking. So basically, they're saying, hey, so your enemy came, he sowed tares in the wheat, and basically there's weeds amongst the good stuff. Do you want us to go tear out the weeds? And he answers this question. And he says this, and this is so beautiful. He said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and the time of the harvest. I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles, and burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. I've already fed them, kid, in case you don't know. And so, long story short though, what it's talking about here is this. It's saying, in essence, that even in the church, we're going to have wheat among the tares, or tares among the wheat, excuse me. Some of us that are good fruit, some of us are bad fruit. And what does he say about this? He says to let them grow together. Now this is interesting because I know a lot of us try to be weed whackers in the church. We're trying to knock people out, trying to not take out the bad from the church all the time. Oh, they're evil, they're wicked, they're not good, and so on and so forth. And we're trying to tear them out. And he literally says, let them grow together, lest in tearing out some of the tares, you might uproot some of the wheat. In other words, you might weaken some of the brethren. See, this is so important because nowadays it seems like everybody in the church wants to kick somebody out or they want to be, this person's not a believer, this one, and they're on this judgment thing, and they're tearing up tares. But in doing so, oftentimes they're damaging the wheat. That God says, let them grow together. When the time of the harvest comes, he says, he will separate the tares from the wheat. See, it's not the time of the harvest yet. It's not our job to worry about separating those things. Oftentimes they'll separate themselves. But the point of the matter is what we need to recognize is let them grow together. And by grace of God, maybe what we think is a tare might actually just be a slow-growing wheat. I hope this encourages you today. I know it encourages me. I love you. We love you. God loves you. And God's got this.